What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, we got more proof that Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn is capping. And I like Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn is doing what he's supposed to do. He's verbally promoting his fighter, the biggest fighter he has in the U.S., who is extremely talented, former unified IBF, WBA, Ring Magazine, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is now the WBA junior middleweight interim world champion and title contender, Jaron Boots Ennis, the Phenom, as I refer to him as, who is now 35 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. Jaron Boots Ennis is trying to carve out his own path in the sport of boxing. And Eddie Hearn understands he's trying to make a superstar, a pay-per-view type, face of boxing type, cash cow type superstar in Jaron Ennis, who's 28 years old. And Eddie Hearn simply does not have a lot of time, right? Because Jaron Ennis is 28 years old. And so Eddie Hearn understands that he needs to piggyback right now off the hottest name, as he's supposed to, in the sport of boxing, who was a first ballot Hall of Famer, who was a 5-division champion, 3-division undisputed champion, who was the pound for pound #1 fight in the world, in Terrence Bud Crawford, who is 42 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. And Eddie Hearn, because of the comparisons early in their career, Jaron Ennis and Terrence Crawford, they both switched from southpaw to orthodox. They both have extremely long arms. Terrence Crawford is 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Jaron Ennis is 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. They switched from southpaw to orthodox. But as their careers progress, you can see the difference. But Jaron Ennis was the guy on deck to take over the welterweight division, where Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford was on their way out of the division. It was a changing of the guards, right? But you had the comparison because the Errol Spence-Terrence Crawford fight was stuck in the mud. And because that fight was stuck in the mud, and it seemed like it may happen, it may not happen, there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of gray area with that fight, that Jaron Ennis being on deck, everybody was like, well, you know what? The next best thing, if Errol Spence ain't gonna fight Terrence Crawford, is Errol Spence should fight Jaron Ennis. Or Terrence Crawford ain't gonna fight Errol Spence, then Terrence Crawford should fight Jaron Ennis. Because like I said, I felt like he had all their strengths and none of their weaknesses. He bigger, stronger, right? Faster than Errol Spence, more fluid than Errol Spence, right? Bigger than Terrence Crawford, right? Younger. So I'm like, he got all their skill set. And as time progressed, you see the difference between Terrence Crawford and Jaron Ennis. But Eddie Hearn is using Terrence Crawford's name. Terrence Crawford has now moved on. He became a champion at 154. He jumped up to 168. He beat Canelo Alvarez this past September. So Terrence Crawford is 38 years old. Jaron is 28. He's 10 years older than him. Terrence Crawford is on his way out. And Eddie Hearn continues to use Terrence Crawford's name. And now the proof is in the pudding that he's just simply using his name to piggyback to promote Jaron Ennis. As he says, give Jaron Boots Ennis to 2027. By 2027, his name will be ringing enough where we could realistically make the fight with Terrence Crawford if Terrence Crawford doesn't price himself out. That would mean Terrence Crawford is almost 40 years old. Now, that means a whole year, Terrence Crawford, what do you think he's going to be doing in a year? Okay, 2 things. Let's address the price himself out, and let's address the year that he needs. Terrence Crawford in 2026 is more than likely going to come back. Looks like he's going to go to middleweight. If Terrence Crawford drops down to middleweight, fights Jenovic versus Lara, they're going to fight December 6th, unify the belts, 3 belts to be on the line. Carlos Adames has the WBC. He wants to fight Terrence Crawford. And Turkey, His Excellency, Turkey Al-Sheikh, is willing to put the money up to keep Terrence Crawford active in 2026. He wants him to stay active, don't want him to retire. So Turkey's going to pay Terrence Crawford the money he's looking for to fight at middleweight, right? So Terrence Crawford fights Jenovic, and Terrence Crawford fights Carlos Adames. Let's say he achieves both in 2026. He becomes undisputed at middleweight. Terrence Crawford is a 6-division champion, a 4-division undisputed champion, and I don't know if he knocks him out or he stops him or decisions him or whatever. But let's just say he wins a decision, right? That means Terrence Crawford would be 44 wins, no losses, no draw, possibly adding to his knockout streak. But he'll be a 6-division champion. He'll be a 4-division undisputed champion. He will have become undisputed in 2 of boxing's top 3 glamour divisions in middleweight and welterweight, right? And he'll be 39 going on 40 years old. Why would Terrence Crawford at that age then fight Jaron Ennis again, like I said, for nothing? Right? This is what I was trying to tell people when I was on my brother Claymore Rain channel. And I said, he's fighting him for nothing because there will be no belts on the line. And Eddie Hearn is saying that Terrence Crawford will price himself out. So he won't even get the bag. He's pricing himself out. And Jaron Ennis won't have no belts. Just bringing up his namesake? That makes no sense. If Terrence Crawford is the face of boxing. Terrence Crawford, 40 years old, 6-division champion, 4-division undisputed champion, undefeated, first ballot Hall of Famer, pound for pound king. And Eddie Hearn is saying the $50 million that His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh paid him, he ain't going to want to take a step back to fight Jaron Ennis in 2027 after achieving all of this. And Jaron Ennis won't have a belt because what division is he going to have a belt in? Because he will have to fight Terrence Crawford at least at 160. He ain't going to have a belt. Terrence Crawford's not dropping to 54. So Jaron Ennis won't have a belt. It's not like he's the undisputed champion. If he was the undisputed champion at 54 and maybe Terrence Crawford decides, you know, I dropped to 54 and challenge myself to be undisputed in 5 different weight classes. Right? But why wouldn't you think and why would you say, hey, he gonna price himself out? So you don't want to pay him. You don't think Turkey Al-Sheikh is gonna pay him because Turkey Al-Sheikh don't want to truly deal with right now Jaron Ennis. Right? So what is there to entice him at 40 years old? For people to keep saying that he would be ducking Jaron Ennis. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So in 2027, it makes no sense. 0 sense. It just don't add up. Period. And this is why I tried to explain to people. And I was trying to explain on my brother Claymore Rain channel. Shouts out to Claymore Rain. Go subscribe to my brother Claymore Rain. This is what I was trying to explain on his channel the other day. It makes 0 sense. How does that make any kind of sense for Terrence Crawford if you don't want to pay him and he don't have a belt? What is he bringing to the table that entices Terrence Crawford at 40 years old to say, I'm going to still fight him? And this is why I said Jaron Ennis has to get out of his comfort zone, because he has to just kill the noise and just say, Eddie, we focus on 54, and after 54, we'll think about moving up. That's it. That's all. Hey, Eddie, no, we ain't doing that right now. Terrence Crawford is doing his own thing. We doing our own thing. We moving up. That's it. That's all. Period. That's what I'm saying when I say that Jaron Ennis have to get out of his comfort zone and stop letting people like Eddie Hearn talk for him, because it just makes him look bad. Right? You have to kill the noise. You have to be the one to kill the noise. Period. But let me know what y'all think, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. It's your boy Blue signing off. Again, Eddie Hearn is doing what he's supposed to do as a promoter. He wants to promote his fighter and build up his name. And he's going to use, like people used to use Floyd Mayweather name all the time. Right? Oh, Floyd Mayweather, we trying to fight Floyd Mayweather. The welterweight's coming up. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, they use Floyd Mayweather name. Period. I'm gone. Peace.